Hello, everyone. Welcome into Simply Life. I'm Keith Casebolt, my dear friend and the creator of this program, Gary C. Johnson. Good to see you back this week.
It's good to be here, and today we're going to talk about how we create potholes in the road of life.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but how you come up with that title for the show, I'm not really sure.
Well, I was looking at this book, and we've talked about it a long time ago, and I happened to pick it up by Ben Stein on how you to run your life. And I realized that every one of the things he puts in there is actually a pothole that we are creating as we go through life, that we have to then deal with on that road and or that journey.
So we sabotage our own highway, and then we want to wonder why that the road's full of potholes.
Well, the road's full of potholes. We create them. And I'm going to read some of those potholes to you that he's got in this book.
Oh, that's
It's
pretty.
a neat little book, How to Ruin Your Life by Ben Stein.
Now, this is just the opposite of how to win friends and influence people.
Right. Number one, don't learn any useful skills. Now, for those of you that are getting ready to graduate that may be hearing this program, what skills do you have to make a living? Good question, right?
Good question, because vitally important, whether it's the skill and ability to communicate. I mean, if you can communicate with others, that's a skill, right?
You learn a skill, have a skill. And if you want to put a pothole there that you can't overcome in that journey through life, don't learn any. Okay? The next one. This is a really good one. Don't learn any self-discipline.
Wow.
Another huge pothole that we have in life on that journey, right?
Sure. Yeah, let's just throw caution to the wind and forget about that.
And the third one, convince yourself that you're the center of the universe. Now, you were for your parents when you were younger, okay?
You mean to tell me the sun and the stars don't revolve around little old me, Gary?
Oh, they do. Yeah, absolutely, Keith. There's no question about it. But me too.
Yeah.
There's a collision then, right?
Yeah.
When it revolves around everyone,
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
it would have to collide.
You know, I was going to say, I'm sure we all know someone that we feel that way about, but I'm sure there's someone that feels that way about us. So you can't even say anything. But such a great point.
It is. It's potholes, as I'm saying. We have a journey through life.
And what you're basically saying is that road in life could be a lot smoother and more enjoyable if we don't create these potholes.
There's going to be enough potholes in our journey on that road without us adding to them.
Life's going to do that, right?
Right. Life puts its own fair share out there.
You're going to get them.
And what I'm saying to my friends is, less don't contribute to the potholes by what we do.
You know what? You've ruined all of us, because now on our daily commutes, each time we see a pothole on the road, we're going to say, oh, that's what I'm creating for myself.
That's right. Now, here's the next one.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to create a good pothole for yourself on that journey, never accept any responsibility for anything that goes wrong.
You mean to tell me it's not everyone else's fault and that the world is not against us and that we had nothing to do with it?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
But again, that's another big pothole that that we create for ourselves
you know,
on that journey.
I got to tell our friends, I always love it when I would come up with problems or mistakes I've made or something, and I would be talking to you about it, and you'd kind of look at me and you'd say, and what part did you play in it? Nothing takes the wind out of your sails when you're trying to criticize others for all of your problems, when someone like your good friend Gary C. says, and what part did you play?
And it's always a major part.
Oh, isn't it a major part? And then you have to do the self-analysis and go, wait a minute, maybe I played a big part in it.
Here's another one. How you create a pothole is criticize early and often.
all day long about everything.
You've made another pothole in their journey of life. Number 6 in this thing, never be grateful. Ooh, now that's a major pothole.
That may be the worst pothole you can create, because you just did a program a couple of weeks ago about if you want to find true happiness. One of the key things was to be grateful to everyone for everything.
And to show appreciation.
So this is a big pothole if you don't do this.
Want another one?
Please.
Know that you're the source of all wisdom. In other words, be a know-it-all. Be the one that is always going to have the opinion. Even though you don't really have any basis for it, but you can always say, they said.
Oh, yeah, or I've been told.
Yeah, I've heard.
I've heard. They say, and I was told, this is the way. And you got to chime into the conversation. So when other people are talking about a subject, you got to interrupt them to tell them how wise you are and how you can fix that.
Right. Now you're the one that knows.
Yeah.
That's a big pothole.
Oh,
because you're really making those people mad, and you don't even know it.
Just did it the other day with this film crew. I walked over and said, you could get this angle, and what if you shoot from here? And they put their arm around me and walked me over to a chair and said, this chair is real comfortable. Why don't you sit over here? It was a good way of saying, you're not all wise when it comes to this subject. So
this is not your field.
Not your field. Please don't butt in anymore.
Okay, the next one on a nice little pothole that you can put out there as you're trying to get through life is envy everything and appreciate nothing.
Oh, there's a good pothole, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wish I had their car. I wish I had their job. I wish I had their career.
Here's one in this little book that I think people may argue with.
Oh, controversial.
That would probably say this is not a pothole, but it is.
Okay.
You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Be a perfectionist.
I'm not going to argue with it, and I tell you why. I think sometimes people get confused and call themselves perfectionists when actually it's nothing more than criticism.
That's right.
Because a true perfectionist, if I'm correct, and tell me, does the job themselves.
They have no choice.
They have to go back and do it over. Just me saying, you know what I would have done if it had been me, that's not being a perfectionist, that's being critical, right?
Remember the show we did where I tried to explain to my friends that unsolicited advice is camouflage criticism?
When you pointed that out, and before we go on, it's worth revisiting this because some of our new friends here may not have heard that show about the unsolicited advice. And you used that example on buying a car. And you told the example of how people wanted to come over and say, so why did you get a 2-door? When I would have got a 4-door, and you didn't get the sunroof.
Why did you get that red car? I can't believe anybody would buy a red car. What did they say to you to get you to buy that red car?
Statistics tell you red's not the most popular.
Your resale value is going to go down.
But here we come up and we give this unsolicited advice about a major purchase that someone just made that obviously they're happy with and they're proud of, but we feel the need to tell them what we would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible.
Another big pothole, right?
That, my
on
friend.
the road in the journey of life.
Yes, absolutely.
Now here's another one. Don't enjoy the simple things in life.
Don't enjoy the simple things.
Because if you can't enjoy the simple things, there is no big ones.
It's amazing. Years ago, you challenged all of our friends, the next time you take a trip, look at the scenery and see if you notice something you've never noticed before. I can't tell you how many people said, I made this commute every day. I didn't notice this tree. I didn't notice this beautiful barn. Mm-hmm. And it was because we were just taking the simple ride for granted and not enjoying the
We
scenery.
didn't. We lose sight of the fact that it's the journey that matters, not the destination.
No, the destination is the end.
It's not good.
No, that's not good. We want to keep that journey going as long as we can.
Okay, now here's a really good one, my friends. If you want to really make yourself a big pothole in life, do this. Fix anyone and everyone at any time. That's that unsolicited advice we were just talking about.
Let me tell you what your problem
Yeah,
is.
let me tell you what you need to do.
If it were my kid, oh my gosh, that must be the worst one of all. If that was my child, I'll tell you what I would do if it was my child.
If I was my kid, I'd beat the crap.
I'd take my belt off, and
Yeah,
that kid wouldn't. Don't ever say that, because you have no earthly idea what you would do if it was your child.
That's exactly right. And you may very well do exactly what that person was doing.
Probably.
And all you've done
worse.
is made them feel bad.
Yes.
So, again, fix anyone and everyone at any time. Bad pothole you're putting in your journey of life if you start doing that. Now, here's a really mean, vicious one. That is a pothole.
This is a deep pothole.
Deep one.
Yeah.
Treat the people who are good to you badly. And that is one of the greatest sins we absolutely, in my opinion, commit. Is we take for granted the people that are good to us, that are close to us, and those are the people we generally will take for granted, and we'll say things to them that we would never say to anyone else.
And 9 times out of 10, Gary, this is your immediate family and your close friends, right? And your test on this was, years ago you told me, you said, would you have used that language with your boss? Would you have said that to your boss if they did that? And the answer was no. And you said, well, why would you say that to your child or your spouse or your best friend? And that's a good test to use, but you're right. That's the people that we normally take things out on.
And here's the next one that will be a pothole in our life. Treat the people who are bad to you well.
You know, we've seen that.
Show them deference.
Give them
Well,
excuses. Oh, well, that's just how they are.
Want another one?
Please,
These
because
are neat little things in this book, How to Ruin Your Life, Ben Stein.
here's what I love about this. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of high school, junior high, college students graduating, and they're looking for this road in life. And you're pointing out the road can be a lot happier if you don't have these potholes.
And how we create our own potholes. That's what I'm trying to get my friends to understand. Each and every one of these things that I'm talking about is a pothole that is self-made. Understanding that life, the journey of life, is going to have plenty of potholes without us contributing to it.
These are the ones that we're putting there.
These are the ones we can do something about. So, next pothole. Make the people around you feel small while you're making yourself feel important. Now, think about that.
Oh, you know, the reason I'm laughing, this is a serious subject, by the way.
It is.
But I'm laughing because our human nature, you know, back to the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, we want to start that conversation off with I. Guess what I did? Guess what I accomplished? Not too often do we ever start out the conversation with, I heard you got a promotion. Congratulations to you for the things that are going on in your life. But instead, we use the word I.
Another little pothole here that he talks about is, it says, keep score. In other words, remember the slights that have happened to you in life. Remember the time someone may have messed over you. Keep score. And you have now created a major pothole in your life.
You remember that snub in 1985? 34 years ago?
And it keeps you from going forward.
Yeah. I'm holding on to that for 34 years. I can't let go of it. Or even for the good, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that by saying, well, I did this favor for this person, or I was kind to them. And that's a form of keeping score.
Mm-hmm. Next one. Don't save any money. You talk about a major pothole.
It is today, my friend.
That's right. 'Cause you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
No.
And if you can, and honestly, there's people that are listening to this show that there's no possible way they can save any money. If there's any way that you can, do it, but I understand if you can't.
I think the greatest advice on that came from Warren Buffett, who said, it's the habit of saving. It doesn't matter about the amount, but if you will just get in the habit of putting something back, whatever it is, the habit will be beneficial to you. I thought that was a good point.
Now, here's another major pothole that people put in their lives on their journey through life. And it's not just the journey through life, it's the journey toward happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the next one. You ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Ignore your family.
If you want to have a major pothole and end up totally miserable, that's the thing to do.
Right.
Because at the end of this journey, when we're getting close to the destination, those are the people you're going to find comfort with that's going to be around you.
And they're the only ones that care what happens to you.
I heard a great compliment the other day about the Hall of Fame golfer Jack Nicklaus, and they asked one of his contemporaries, what was the most impressive thing about Jack Nicklaus, 18-time major winner and the greatest golfer that ever lived? And the guy said he made time for his family no matter what. He never missed a ball game. He never missed a graduation. He took his family on tour with him. He said, the thing I admired most is he kept things in check with his family.
Oh, here is a really good one on creating potholes in life. This one is funny. Ready for it?
Yes, sir.
Live as if truth is relative, a distant relative.
Now, Gary, you don't want to let the facts get in the way of a good story, do you?
I think that's funny.
I mean,
and again, if you go around lying, it'll catch up with you, and you'll create your own pothole. Bottom line.
And that pothole will get bigger because you'll have to tell another lie to cover up the first lie.
That's the problem with a lie. You have to tell a lie to cover the lie, then tell a lie to cover the lie that you told us to cover the lie.
And it's hard to remember all those lies.
You can't remember it. Ready for another one?
Yes, sir.
Know that the rules of reasonable, decent conduct don't apply to you.
That's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have to. I don't have to go along with that.
These are so neat. These things in this book about the potholes. And for those of you that may have just tuned in, we're talking about the potholes in life that we create for ourselves. Not counting the ones that are out there just from life. But these, on our journey, these are major potholes to overcome if we do them. So, next pothole that you can create in your life is just absolutely know that you don't owe anyone a thing.
Did it all myself.
Did it all.
I have no one to thank but me for everything that I've accomplished and everything I've done.
Right.
How's that for a pothole?
That's a pothole.
Oh, my Lord.
Major pothole in life.
Major pothole. The opposite is you have everyone to thank.
This other one is neat, and it is so true. This next one, on a pothole,
Mm-hmm.
it says, gamble with money.
Well,
you can easily go broke that way.
We all know.
And create a major pothole.
I agree with what you said years ago. It's not gambling. They know they're going to win. You're just donating.
And here's one that is absolutely such a fact. Make it clear, make sure everyone knows that pets are for losers. Now that is a pothole you create in your life, because pets are wonderful things to have.
You know, I think probably the most talked about radio show that you did was a couple of years ago when you talked about the importance of your dog and your cat, because I heard from more people out in the community about the importance of their pet and what it meant to their happiness, their health, and everything.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's elderly, and he was telling me the other day, he said, you know, he was showing me pictures of two little dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Gary, they are the things that give me the most comfort in my life right now. And really, I thought that was pretty profound. And it was the truth.
Well, you talked about the fact no matter what kind of day you've had, no matter what goes on, there's that little dog wagging its tail, ready to greet you at the door. But the thing that you pointed out that I thought was even better than that was you could scold the dog or take a newspaper and run him off, and within 60 seconds he'll come right back and wag the tail, and he forgives you. And you did a whole thing about if we could take a lesson from the puppy dog, we ought to have a really happier life.
Let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
Your pets don't keep score.
There you go. They don't remember the slight, the insult.
Or if they do remember it, they ignore it. We don't know what they remember, really.
They forgive you.
They forgive you.
Because the good outweighs the bad.
That's right. Now, ready for another one?
Let's keep
All
going.
kinds of good little sayings in here on how to create potholes in your life, right?
This may be the best commencement speech out there as far as I'm concerned.
Don't clean up after yourself. Expect somebody else to do it.
Somebody else can get that.
That's a good pothole to create. And here's a good one. Have no respect for age or experience. Be the know-it-all.
I think
pothole, you want to create a pothole? Good pothole to create.
you might want to sit down and talk to some people that have made those mistakes. You
Yep.
could avoid hitting those potholes.
Next one. Show everyone around you that you're holier than they are.
What was the one preacher who said that, I'm not sure anybody's going to heaven except me and my wife, and I've got my doubts about her.
Yeah. Now, here's one that I have talked about a lot on how it will destroy your happiness, creating this pothole. Fight the good fight over everything.
Argue, argue, argue.
And if you want to destroy any chance of having happiness and to create more than a pothole but a big canyon, fight the fight over everything.
Still love that story you told about the lady who called you and said, Gary, I fight with everybody.
I don't know what's wrong with them.
What in the world is wrong with everybody?
Yeah.
And there's no way of telling this person there's a common denominator, and that's you.
Nope. You can't tell. But now that's a good one. Here's another one that will create you a pothole. And you're saying, and there are some of you that may argue with this one. Think the worst of everyone. And if you want to be miserable in life, think the worst of everyone. Because there's no way to have happiness if you do.
And that's so true, because I've heard conversations where people would talk about individuals, and I would say, when did you meet this person? And they said, I've never met them. But yet they thought the worst of them and had never had a conversation with them or ever met them.
Right. Here's another good one. Live above your means.
Oh, yeah, we'll pay for it later on down the road.
That really does a lot of us in over time. It's a pothole.
Because of the pressure that you'll be under to make those payments.
We're getting down to the end of them
Okay.
on how to make potholes for yourself. And this is a good one. Always make sure that you're the smart ass. If you really want to create yourself a good pothole in life.
Yeah, that's a good one. When you take that label, you're digging your own potholes.
Yeah. And then the last one we're going to talk about on this road to creating potholes is simple. Whenever possible, say, "I told you so."
Isn't that the good one?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're being the little chatterbox, right?
Yeah. I told you so.
I knew it wouldn't work.
All of those things I just read to you folks came from a book, How to Ruin Your Life by Ben Stein. And it's all about the potholes that we create for ourselves as we have this journey called life.
And again, you have said there's going to be potholes that life's going to deliver us. You see that every day when people walk through your door. So there's going to be potholes and unhappiness. We don't need to create all these that you just went through, which was about 30 of them.
Now, did any of those apply to any of you, my friends?
Oh, Lord. Do we have to be honest on that?
Well, no. Well, that is one of the things. Truth is relative.
Yeah.
A distant one.
A distant relative?
Yeah.
Let's just say if they did, they don't anymore. How's that?
Well, that's just, like I say, the whole purpose of all of this is to get my friends out there to think about what they're doing.
And you'll be happier.
And be happier. Look around you. Think.
And, Gary, being happy is so much better than being sad.
It feels good.
Feels a lot better. I agree with you 100%. So if there's a graduate that you know that's looking down life's highway, you may want to let them know about this program. In fact, Gary, this will be posted to your website at garycjohnson.com. So anyone that hears the program and you want someone else to hear these tips, you can go to the website, click on the button, and replay it.
Wow. My friends are going to be happy. Okay? They're not going to fall into the trap of creating these self-imposed potholes now that they're aware of them.
That's the key.
Now, my friends, I suspect some of you may have created some of these potholes already. I know in looking back on it, I probably have.
So go back
But
and
I'm gonna
fill the
fix 'em.
pothole in.
I'm going to fix them.
I'm with you, my friend.
There's a little thing that I want to read you just a little bit about the introduction of this book.
Okay.
And the introduction is Why Failure Matters. Success, said John F. Kennedy, has 100 fathers. Failure is an orphan. I think he said it about the failed invasion of Cuba at the Bay of Pigs in 1961, but it certainly applies to how-to books and articles as well. In any bookstore, there will be dozens of titles on how to succeed, many with the same advice, just a different typeface. And I've said many times on this program, Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which should have been titled How to Be a Better Human, is the best self-help book that's ever been written, and it was written in the 30s. I think every other book that was written after that probably is a cheap spin-off of that book, because Carnegie, I think, was an absolute genius when it come to, he's the one that's come up with don't criticize, condemn, and complain. Show appreciation. Remember people's names. Get away from I, and try to understand where the other person's coming from. Control your anger.
And
all of those things.
Here we are almost 90 years later, and we're saying it's still the most important book on the shelf.
I say it is.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. My friend, that was a good lesson. It was a good lesson for the graduates, a good lesson for us. It's a good lesson for everybody.
Well, again, my friends, remember, life is going to have a whole bunch of potholes for you that just living creates. Don't add to it by making these mistakes that I just read to you about. on life.
If
And
you,
they're so easy to do because your chatterbox is going to tell you to do these things.
but you hit the key. Be aware of them. So once you're aware, you can say, wait a minute, I'm not going down that road. And you can stop it.
And I'm going to read you the first 10 again,
Okay?
since we got a minute, right?
We do.
Number 1, don't learn any useful skills. Major pothole in your life. Number 2, don't learn any self-discipline. Ooh. Number 3, convince yourself that you're the center of the universe. Pothole, canyon, horrible. Number 4, never accept any responsibility for anything that goes wrong. Huh. Number 5, criticize early and often. Number 6, never be grateful. Number 7, know that you're the source of all wisdom. Number 8, envy everything, appreciate nothing. Number 9, be a perfectionist. Number 10, don't enjoy any of the simple things in life. That's just 10 of the 35.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. A great lesson. You can catch Gary's television show on WYMT, your CBS affiliate, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. We've got some new subjects to talk to you about that I think you'll find very important. A replay is in Central Kentucky on WKYT, your CBS affiliate. If you would like to re-listen to this program, you can go to Gary's website, gary@garycjohnson.com, or if you have any questions. My friend, thank you so much for being here and the lesson.
Wonderful to be here. I'm glad I had a refresher course myself.
On behalf of Gary C. Johnson, I'm Keith Casebolt. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, Gary and I look forward to seeing you again next week at this very same time.